Hi everybody, this is Sandra, Angelo, and Peanut Butter broadcasting live from Sandyland. He's a little squirrely right now because I just took my chair back. I am so excited to be with you tonight on day 16 of a 14-day free workshop program. And I am going to be talking to you tonight, like I normally do, about a motivational speech. And then I'm going to be, I can't critique tonight because at 2:13 in the morning a.m. this morning, Alexandra and I were working like crazy trying to get Pencil Drawing College fixed and ready for you and slay the tech dragons, and I got a virus on my computer. So I can't go over to the computer like I normally do because it's broken, but I will try to go through. I don't know if I can do it. I don't think I can critique tonight, so I'm really sorry. But it's just the way things go. Okay. But I'm going to talk about something really, really important, and this is something I want to say in response to a lot of people that have been sending me questions. We launched Pencil Drawing College this morning. Both Alex and I fell asleep around 3 o'clock in the morning. We were back up by 7 or 7:30. And we finally got everything at 9:03 a.m. And we sent out the invitation, and the spaces are selling out very quickly because everybody's so excited about getting that one-on-one attention to correct their drawing mistakes. And so we're super excited to welcome people from all over the world into Pencil Drawing College. And today I'm going to talk a little bit more about what's involved in Pencil Drawing College, and also I'm going to just address that accelerated apprenticeship too. Excuse me. So, but first let me do my motivational speech so we get our brain in agreement with us about what we need to do in order to make dreams come true. So hi, Debbie. Debbie was the first one to sign up for Pencil Drawing College, and like I've been telling you guys, she just lost her home in the California fires like probably a month or 2 months ago, and yet she is not giving up on her dream. Congratulations, Debbie. Good for you that you're pushing through it, because life throws us curves. You know, I mean, last year I had a flood in my place and I had to move out, and you know, a few years ago my home burned down, and I still didn't give up on my art dream. And so, and that leads me to the talk that I'm going to give you today, and that is this really wonderful verse. I seem to have a frog. Hang on. Okay. This really wonderful verse that I read yesterday in my quiet time. And it's this. It says, I know the plans I have for you. Plans to prosper you and not to harm you. Plans to give you a future and of hope, saith the Lord. And it's interesting that I read that, because I think it's a word that some of you might need to hear right now. And I know I needed to hear that too. And I always need to hear it when something goes wrong. Like this morning when my computer, I've never been attacked by a computer virus. I have very good protection on my computer. Hi, Sandra. Yes, Marianne, hi. I'm super excited that you joined Pencil Drawing College, and so did Debbie. They're both in the atelier, and they're still going back to grade 1 to pick up that skill. So good for you. Nice. Happy to hear that your check is on its way. And so anyway, back to what I was talking about is that God says He has plans for us to give us a future and a hope, plans to prosper us and not to harm us. And sometimes it doesn't feel like that. It feels like our life is caving in. I know Debbie felt that way when her home burned down. I talked to her tried to get a hold of her for 3 days, but I was calling the phone that had burned. And I finally found her cell phone and talked to her afterwards, and she felt just like I did when I lost my home. It was just, like, really? Really? You're letting this happen to me? Where's that? I know the plans I have for you that are good, and plans to prosper in you, not to harm you, to give you a future and a hope. It's like, really? And you let this happen? So I want to go back in my life and talk about some of the times when I questioned him, and even just in my naivety as a young girl growing up, and some of the things that came against me before I found my dreams and pursued that path. So I was born in the boomer generation, and when I was a girl, some of you watching who are in the millennials or even in your 30s and 40s may not be able to relate to this, but when I was a girl, women had two choices. Well, three. They could be a teacher, they could be a nurse, or they could be a full-time mom. And those, and secretary. Those were pretty much the options open to women when I was growing up. I'm not the mother type. I know God doesn't trust me to watch after a little one. I'm a great aunt, but I would not be a good mom. And I'm not a secretary. I'm not that kind of person. And I hated science. I got a B in biology. I was a straight A student, and I got a B in biology. So my other option was teaching. And I went and took a vocational guidance test when I was in high school. And, the vocational guidance test, the counselor never even mentioned that when I scored on that test, I had scored off the charts in business. Off the charts. But women didn't go into business, so she didn't even mention it. And so I ended up enrolling in a teaching program. I went to college. I got a teaching degree. I enrolled in art for a couple of years, and I was trained to teach art. I wasn't a good artist because, like I said, I started when I was in college, so by the time I graduated, I was in second grade. And I did not have strong skills, but my skills were stronger than the students, so I got by with it. And I taught ceramics and, jewelry making and some of the things that are easier to teach where it's not as hard to, the fact that you don't know how to draw and stuff. So I made do, and I love teaching. I really, really enjoyed it because it's one of my talents. I happen to have 11 billion talents. Hi, Regina. So excited that you joined Pencil Drawing College. Super, super cannot wait to get started. And so anyway, I pursued that and I liked it, but it was only 1/10 of what I was good at. And in the Bible it talks about how God gives some people 1 talent, He gives other people 5, and He gives other people 10. Well, He gave me 10. And so the fact that I was using one of them was good, but I wasn't using the other 9. Well, there's another verse in the Bible, and this one I'm not as proficient at quoting it, but I remember that He said in the Bible, before you were even formed in your mother's womb, I knew you, and I had plans, for you. So I was born for a special reason, and because I joined the family of God at a very young age, all the things in my life were going to work together for good. So even though I, in college, majored in teaching and I didn't have much art training, what I did then prepared me for what I do now. And so I ended up teaching for about 10 years in a high school and a long time in a college. It was 5 years in high school and about almost 18 or 20 years in a college. And during that time is when it was kind of like a lab where I was testing things. Most of the time in the beginning I was given gifted students and I had great success with them, but then I was given a classroom adult education where the people had no talent and I was supposed to make them into artists. And it was kind of like a lab. I mean, they weren't guinea pigs, but I tried out things And that's when I started developing Pencil Drawing College. I was trying things, they wouldn't work, so then I'd try this, they worked. I'd try that, that worked. So I actually wrote my curriculum when I was in teaching college. And so it was so awesome. And I think that's why my company is so successful, is because I'm not a publisher who writes books and then tries to sell them. I am somebody who just writes the answers to everyone's questions. I mean, you all have the same questions. Regina was so helpful today when she was asking questions this morning. I jumped on Facebook Live briefly this morning right after we launched just to ask questions, and she was asking some really good questions. And so Pencil Drawing College is the answer to all those questions that you have, like, you know, how to shade, how to create depth, which pencil to use, what papers to use, when to switch to a different paper, how hard to press, what kind of stroke do you make? If you're going to shade this hat, you know, what kind of stroke would you use for that hat, and what stroke would you use for this blouse, and what stroke would you use for my face and my hair, and all that kind of stuff. It answers all those questions. And so even though when I went back, I was 35 when I went back and dug out my vocational guidance test, and I looked at the fact that I had scored off the charts in marketing and business, and I found out that this sounds terrible to say this, but I have a genius IQ, and I felt like, I just sort of felt betrayed by God, because I was like, are you serious? I could have been the president or the vice president of Procter & Gamble. And instead, because this vocational guidance person pushed me into teaching instead of what I scored high in, I mean, is this fair, God? You know, and I really had some conversations with him for a little while about it. Like, really, seriously, you let me waste all this time doing something I know I'm good at it. I'm getting amazing results. Rhode Island School of Design nominated me as the #1 art coach eventually. And but I just questioned him. I was like, why? You know, why, when I have all this talent and all this aptitude, why did I end up doing this? You know? And so I just kept, you know, talking to him, and he's not threatened by questions, you know. He just kind of says, like, just trust me, you got this, we're going to get this all worked out. Well, it turned out that I ended up submitting the curriculum that I was developing to the #1 publisher in the world. And not only did they reject it, but I submitted it in a book format. And it would have sold for $22. And they rejected it. And not only did they reject it, but they copied big passages out of my book, which is a copyright infringement. But at the time, I didn't have the money or the resources. I was just, you know, an art teacher. And I didn't have the ability to sue them. Well, here's the funny thing. Fast forward 22 years. And I had been teaching at the college, and then when my home and business burned down, it just wasn't convenient for me. I was living downtown, and they're way up, you know, like 45 minutes away. And I just realized that it would be better for me online had been invented, the internet. I mean, I'm that old, that I'm old enough that I remember before the internet was invented. And I felt like I wanted to start. I was a national magazine columnist, and I was getting cards and letters from people all over the world asking me to do this online, and so I started doing it. Well, the thing that's just crazy is that stuff that I did in my early life prepared me for my destiny. And God has a destiny for you. You know, maybe you've been a lawyer, or you were a nurse, or you know, you are a mom, and you're raising little kids, or, you know, maybe you're a scientist, or, you know, whatever you ended up in. You know, there's a lot more opportunities for women now. My sister was the first woman in the House of Representative in her state. And they didn't even have women's restrooms in those days because it was all men. And maybe you went into another occupation instead of art because somebody said to you, you can't make money in art, which is a lie. It's a cultural myth. And so there's this little quiet voice in your heart that's been saying, and that was in my heart, it was like, I want to do art. When I travel, I find the art galleries, I find the art museums, I go to art shows, I buy art stuff. I am just like, I'm a living, breathing artist. And I didn't know it because I was shoved into other things. And so this voice just, when my home and business was destroyed by the San Diego fires, 2,300 homes burned down that day. I had a lot of still time afterwards, quiet time. And that's when I just heard that voice coming up again. You know what? You don't need a college. Do it yourself. Create your own college. Create your own curriculum. And so I did. I created pencil drawing college. I created colored pencil college. I created color theory college. I literally sat in a chair for about 3 or 4 years after the fire and wrote and drew, just all the stuff that I had learned in the classroom, all the things that were holding people back and the things that were keeping them from succeeding, and all the things that I had done that had made people just take off like a rocket. I think I told you before that every student in my class except one got an A. I gave that one a B because she just skipped so many classes, but they were all succeeding. I was creating artists, but I was teaching for a college that didn't want me to give all A's. They wanted me to give some A's, some B's, some C's, some D's, some F's, which to me is a failure for the teacher. If everybody's not succeeding, then you aren't teaching it right. And so I realized I don't belong in that world anymore. That world trained me for what I'm really supposed to do, And then I hung out my shingle. I started, like I said, I started getting approached by all these major companies to do lucrative commissions, and people were hiring me to do portraits, and my work was getting applause everywhere. But I realized I didn't really want to draw. I love to draw, but I didn't want to draw to sell it. My real heart was creating artists. I got my biggest pleasure going to my students' art shows and finding out that my students had become a millionaire doing their art. I went to this one art show after the fire. It was my birthday, and it was the April after. My home had burned in October, and I think I had finally gotten a place to live. It had taken me about 6 months to find a place to live, and my insurance was paying for me to live there. And so I invited some students to go with me to an art show in Little Italy, and we were going around, and I was quietly critiquing behind the scenes. I didn't want to hurt anybody's feelings, but I was showing them what's wrong with the color, what's wrong with the composition, and color theory, and teaching them like a docent in the art walk. And then when I rounded this one corner, I said, now this artist is really gifted. You can tell he's had a really good drawing instructor. He's had a great color theory instructor. He's had someone who taught him composition. And his work is fanciful, and he's got his own style, but you can tell that he was trained in classical foundations. And so my insurance company had given me some money, and they said I could buy art to replace the art that was on my walls when my house burned, and I wanted to buy his work because I loved it. And so I actually said to the person manning the booth, I said, I'd really like to meet the artist because I want to write about him in the Artist magazine and American Artist, and I want to give him publicity because he's so talented. So they said, okay, we'll go find him. So they went behind the curtain, and they found him. And he walked out from behind the curtain, and he went, Sandra, Angelo, oh my goodness. He said, I owe everything I am to you. He said, when I was 17 years old, my family told me that art wasn't a viable occupation. And I went and took your class, and you taught me how to draw. And you also taught me that art was a valid occupation. And then I took your course called What Rich Artists Do That Poor Artists Don't. And I started applying what I learned. And I went off and took a few courses at the college. And then I applied the things that you had taught me about being successful. And he says, I am so successful that my wife, who's a lawyer, is making less money. And so she quit her job and she's working for me. And we're traveling all over the world now. And I'm doing art full time. And he said, I've made more than $1 million following my dream. And you told me I could when I was 17. And everybody was telling me I couldn't. And you made my dream come true. And he just gave me a huge hug. And it was really interesting because that morning I was living in a place where I literally had a blow-up bed and one chair. That's all I had in the world. I had one set of silverware and one plate. That morning when I woke up, I'd said to God, it's my birthday and my life is really hard, so I'd like you to give me a birthday present today. And I didn't specify what I wanted. I just said, please give me a present. Well, you know what? When he said that, that was my birthday present. And you know why? Because it made me realize that not everything had burned. What I had poured into him and what I had done had changed his life. And that was way more important than stuff. You know, I had literally made his dreams come true because of what I had poured into him. And that's when I realized, you know what? You need to work with a different mindset. I still did the same thing that I always was doing, but I did it for a different reason. I just realized, you know, it's not about the money, it's not about the stuff, it's not about anything except making a difference in people's lives. And proving to them that even in this culture that doesn't understand artists, it's okay to become one and you can succeed beyond your wildest dreams, like I have. I mean, it's crazy how bad I was when I started. And it's crazy how successful I am. And so a student in Germany who's in my atelier is starting to invite her friends to, you know, join my program. The reputation is just getting all over. Here's a place where you can go and you can actually become an artist and become successful. Because not only have I been successful at learning how to master foundations, but I have been successful at monetizing my talents. And that is, you know, something that needs to be taught. You know, I always said if I ever own an art college, I'm going to force my students to learn the techniques, but also learn marketing, because it's all about marketing. It's all about getting the word out there so that the people that you're going to serve will find you. And this morning, Alex and I were so tired last night. We were working so hard. And I just said a quick prayer when we hit the button to launch Pencil Drawing College. I said, Father, please send the people that I am supposed to help. Please help those people join Pencil Drawing College. And then we're going to send out invitations to the accelerated apprenticeship too soon. I'll tell you more about that later. But I said, please send me the people I'm supposed to bless. Please send me the people that I'm supposed to help. Please send me the people who need their dreams to come true so that I can be your instrument and I can guide their way to success. It's so much fun to fulfill your purpose. It's just crazy. It's so awesome to wake up in the morning and know that your to-do list is things you want to do. I mean, I have some things on my list in the morning. I don't particularly like cleaning the kitty litter box, but, you know, like 95% of the things on my list are things I want to do. You know, I want to be here right now. I love being with you in Sandyland. It's one of my favorite things to do. Peanut Butter loves being here. And look, God even gave me a cat that likes to be on TV. And so, so living your dream is just crazy awesome. And when you have the courage to follow your dream, then God just lines things up and puts people in your life, and it puts things into place that need to be in place in order for you to do what you were created to do. And God needs artists in the world. I always feel that one of the reasons that art has disintegrated is because the people with good morals and values and strong commitment to classical training and excellence, they've abandoned the arts. And so now people are just vomiting paint and putting urinals under plexiglass and framing rope and stuffing garbage bags and selling it for $50,000. And they're ruining the reputation of art in our country because people think that artists are, you know, barbarians. But there are a small segment of people who really love classics and foundations, and they want to be really good. But in order to be good, you have to build the foundations. I keep talking about the fact that if you want to be a writer, you have got to learn grammar, punctuation, syntax, spelling, how to diagram a sentence, all those things, and then you can write. You could write an encyclopedia, a novel, a technical manual, you know, a cartoon book, anything. But if you don't know those foundations, you won't be able to be creative. And it's the same with drawing and all forms of art. If you don't learn these foundations that I'm going to be teaching you in grade 1, which is Pencil Drawing College, your work is always going to be wobbly, and you're going to be insecure whenever you start because you're going to look at your paper and you're not going to know if you can pull it off. I was talking to one of my atelier students the other day, and I was talking about colored pencil drawing, and he was one of my worst in the beginning, the weakest student that I had that I invited into atelier. He was a stick figure person, but I knew he had the it factor, and the it factor is tenacity. You keep doing it until you get it right, and teachability. You listen to what I say and you do what I say because that's why the master's there. And I was talking about colored pencil drawing, which is something that we will conquer in the accelerated program. But he said, you know, when I look at a piece of paper, I know which pencil to pick up. That's crazy. Because when he started, he didn't even know how to draw, you know. But I took him through drawing, and then I took him through color theory to learn how to mix like a master, to master color. And then I took him through Colored Pencil College, which is mastering the foundations and which pencils do I use, what technique do I use, which paper do I use, and how do I mix it up and use different papers for different projects and different techniques to get different effects. And then he'd worked on his own personal projects, and now he's ready to hang up his shingle, and this year he's going to make a lot of money. And something that's kind of interesting is that he didn't even think that he wanted to make money doing art last year, because we always evaluate the atelier students at the end of the year to see where they want to go next, and he didn't think he wanted to. And I think it was just this insecurity that he wasn't sure that he could always perform. And now he told me, he private messaged me, he says, I'm going to do a minimum of 5 commissions this year. Love that confidence. And he was my worst stick figure artist in the beginning, and now he's your coach. He's going to be coaching in Pencil Drawing College. And so it's just super exciting to see this happen. And this is my, yeah, sweetie, okay, you can have a kiss. Oops, nope, don't grab my hat. This is my purpose, and you need to think about your purpose. Were you created to be an artist? You know, I'm giving you permission. Just like I did with, that's Grant Peacock, the guy that I ran into, who I'd started with at 17. And I'm so impressed with him. Oh my goodness. And I have about I didn't even, when I bought his art, I didn't even know he was a former student of mine. I didn't know that until I met him, because I have thousands of students on 5 continents, and I don't remember everybody. But I did remember him once he introduced himself, because I remember he was like a surfer dude from Encinitas, and I never expect that much out of those people, because it's like their whole thing is surfing. But he was different. I knew he was going to go places, and I was so impressed and so excited that I was able to make a small contribution. I'm certainly not responsible for his success, but I got him started, and I helped him believe that he could do it. And so that's what I'm really good at, is getting you started. I'm good at giving you those foundations so that you're not insecure, so that you're mastering all the mistakes that you keep making. Because if you keep making those mistakes, they're going to show up in your work, and clients aren't going to hire you because they're going to know that you're not consistent. That sometimes you produce good work and sometimes your work is awful. Frequently, I try to find good colored pencil artists. Back when I was doing the symposiums, there were tons of really good masters, but most of them have died off, and unfortunately their techniques didn't catch on. At the time, I wasn't doing international work, and so I didn't spread the word like I'm doing now in Colored Pencil College, and there was only one master out there teaching, and her technique does not work for anything except for one kind of art. And people are using her technique for every kind of colored pencil drawing, and it's just sad. I mean, just so much mediocre work. And so I'm always trying to find good examples for you, and I'll kind of peruse these really bad colored pencil Facebook groups to see if I can ever find a good one. And all of a sudden I'll see a good one, I'll click on them, and I'll go to their Facebook page and then click on their website, because I want to find more masters. And sure enough, it might be 1 or 2 good pieces, and all the rest of their stuff is awful. Because they used her technique for the piece where it would work, but they were doing other styles, and that paper and those pencils don't work for those other styles. And so you need to be consistent. You need to know all your options, all the methods, all the materials that are available to you before you set up your shingle. And you need a good portfolio. You need to have something with a whole bunch of pieces in it so people know, oh, she is consistent. Look, her work is just amazing. So anyway, so my inspiration talk to you today is that verse. I know the plans I have for you, saith the Lord. Plans to prosper you and not to harm you. Plans to give you a future and a hope. Okay? And I want to just take that apart. I know the plans I have for you. That says God gave you talents and abilities that He expects you to use. And did you know in the Bible it also says that when we get to heaven, He's going to ask us what we did with our talents? Are you going to say, well, I wanted to be an artist, but I let people convince me not to follow my dream? Is that what you're going to say? So I just buried my talent? And I want to say to him, I used everything. I used it up. Yeah, I'm really good at teaching. That's one of my talents. I'm really good at creating masters. But I'm also good at teaching you how to succeed, and I'm also good at art myself. And I'm also good at writing. I can make stuff super simple, and I can get you there so fast. Most people spend decades trying to become good, but I can get you good in almost no time, because one of my talents is making things so easy that everybody can succeed. So that's another one of my talents. Another talent is being on camera. I have 10 different talents, and I've won awards for, I've had an Emmy nomination for my videos, and I've had top awards in my for my books. I won a contest I didn't even know I entered, and top first place at Boston Booksellers Awards, and on. I could go on forever. Pages and pages of awards. But I'm using the talents that I was given. I am following that whisper in the heart that's telling me what I'm supposed to do. And the thing that's kind of interesting is that when it's time for you to follow that dream, the person that you need to help you shows up. Here I am. I'm available. I don't know if I'm going to do this forever because it's a lot of work and it takes a lot of my time to do this coaching. And I have other really cool opportunities on my plate right now that might take me away from this eventually. Probably next year. I don't know if I'll continue to coach or not. But right now, I'm committed. I'm committed to this calendar year. And Pencil Drawing College is one of the courses that I'm going to offer. And then everybody who gets into Pencil Drawing College, everybody who is accepted, applies and pays their fee is going to get an invitation to apply for the Accelerated Apprenticeship Program. And I'm going to go ahead and just talk about that right now because there was a lot of questions this afternoon. So I'm just going to describe Pencil Drawing College. Pencil Drawing College is basically a very specific curriculum. This is your assignment, this is what you need to do, this is the video, this is the workbook, this is the step-by-step, project that you're supposed to work on. It's very, very specific. It's a very guided path. And then the next week another path shows up and it's a very specific workbook, a very specific video. I even tell you which pencil to pick up on the screen on the video camera every time. You know what to use. And I tell you what paper to use, and I give you a supply list. And that's why we're waiting until January 23rd to open it, because we want you to get your supplies. And that's about 2 weeks away, so you've got plenty of time to get the supplies to you. So anyway, and then I'm going to be in there on a weekly basis critiquing your work, much more in depth than what I've been doing here, because there were so many posted here that I just didn't have time to really go into depth. And then my atelier student, Bruce, who's just ridiculously good, and he's also very good at coaching, he's going to be in there critiquing your work too. And so it's going to be a very specific guided program, and you have 6 months access to that, but we'll be in there coaching you for the first 4 weeks. Then any Pencil Drawing College student that signs up for the Accelerated program, which is 6 months long, they will also start in Pencil Drawing College. Everybody starts at the starting line. But the people who only signed up for Pencil Drawing College, they'll begin to work on their own. And the people who signed up in the Accelerated program will continue with me and Bruce, and we will take them through mastering colors. How do you figure out, what do I do to do this color? Okay, I happen to know that this is in the orange and blue family. That black right there is in the orange and blue family, and I would add a little white right here to make that glow, whereas over here in the shadow I would just use orange and blue. Okay, and a lot of people would just use a black pencil, and the black pencil is only one of the blacks. There's 6 different blacks. So if you use the wrong black pencil for this hat, it's going to throw the color harmony off. And if I turned off the light in here, this would be a different color, because the color affects the light. My face is a different color when I'm in front of the light than it is when I'm not. And so you learn all these things in color theory about, what affects color and how to match colors and which pencils to pick up, and you're actually going to be mixing a bunch of charts. You're going to mix them in paint because it's 1,000 times faster and much cheaper to learn color in paint. But all those charts that you mix will be charts where you can put your pencils on them, and then you'll know, how to mix the colors. So for example, let's just say we were doing a red delicious apple. I think everybody knows what that color looks like. And in the highlights, the top of the apple, on the shoulder of the apple, we would use the reds, and there's probably a little bit of orange, so it's probably a red-orange up at the top. And so the opposite of red-orange would be blue-green. So in the shadow at the bottom, we would put blue-green with the red-orange to create the black that we need underneath the shadow that's being cast onto the table. So there's a lot of logic, to color, but if you don't know that color, you can't figure things out. And in colored pencil, you even have to know how to layer color. So you don't just use one pencil. If you looked at my free workshop today, you got a link in it in your email, and I showed you my bad art. And the problem was I was using a black pencil instead of realizing, and just one pencil. Like when I did a drawing of a little baby, I just made her dress one color. I made her skin one color. And, you know, this is not one color. This is many, many colors. So with colored pencils, you need to layer. The last face I drew, I think I layered 17 colors on the face to get the skin to look like skin. And so we go into depth about how to explore all that. And then we jump into Colored Pencil College after that. This is in the accelerated program. You can't get in, but you will get an invitation to apply because we only accept a certain number of people. And then, so we jump into colored pencil where we learn, you know, how to draw on black paper, how to draw on flesh tone papers, how to draw on white, how to use reverse grisaille, how to use the regular grisaille, how to use a paper to save your time. There's techniques that'll save you 70% of your drawing time. And how to do monochromatic drawings and on and on. So in Colored Pencil College, we go into great depth about how to do that. And then once you master all those basics, then we go ahead and let you start working from your own photos. And I had a question today from somebody who private messaged me. I don't know if you're here, Christina, but about whether or not you could meet the workshop for the homework. Now, I'm not going to lie to you and say that this doesn't take work. There's a meter on your hand, and if you don't run the meter, you're not going to get good. It's just a fact of life. It's like anything. If you don't practice tennis, you're not going to get better. You know, if you don't practice the piano, you're not going to get better. So you need to put aside some time. The more time, the faster you get there. Fact of life. And so you definitely want to be sure that you're going to commit yourself to doing this. This is why we don't let just anybody apply, come into the accelerated program, because we only want the people who are going to do the work. Because I'm investing a ton of my time and energy. And you know, I'm at the age where you realize that you don't have forever. And so you have to decide how are you going to spend those last years that you've got. And I made a distinct decision to commit myself to your success. That's how I'm going to spend this year of my life. And so if I'm going to spend that time, I want the people in there. This is why we screen people. I want the people in there that are going to, you know, that are going to do the work. Okay. And I don't mean, you know, 20 hours a day or whatever. Just if you can fit in at least an hour a day. And if you happen to be retired or you have the luxury of working longer during the day, do it. Because again, the longer you work on the homework, the faster you're going to become good. But the homework is set up to not overwhelm you. And so in the olden days, when we used to do these programs, people would say, well, how many workbooks do I get? And how many videos do I get? And how many, you know, on and on and on. And I found that when you gave too much, people got overwhelmed. It's like, I'm never going to get this done. And so what I did instead was I limited it to just what you could accomplish. You know, if you were a reasonable person with an average life, you could fit this into your schedule. I mean, we have Ethel. Ethel signed up for Pencil Drawing College, and she's actually been accepted into the atelier too, because she joined one of our Colored Pencil College. It's sold out. You can't get into it. But she joined Colored Pencil College, and she was showing such diligence. She has a full-time job, but she was in there doing the homework, and so we invited her. And now she's in Pencil Drawing College, and she is dedicated. She has a full-time job, and she's decided to fit it in. You know, whenever we say that we don't have time, what we're really saying is it doesn't matter to me. You know, because how much time do you spend on Scrabble with friends on your phone, or on Facebook, or on Twitter, or on, you know, watching television shows that contribute nothing to your life? You we all have these little things we can get rid of to squeeze what we want into that space. And if you're in a 6-month program, you only have to do that for 6 months. And the cool thing is, if you do it for 6 months, then for the rest of your life, you have that skill. And so it's worth that investment, to make that dream come true. So I hope that answers your questions, Christy. And feel free to call me, anybody who has more questions. I'm available too. I'm just going to give out the phone number at my company so that you can call. Probably best to call during daylight hours, like between maybe 9 a.m. and probably about 7 p.m. California time. But it's 858-578-6005. And we are actually, answering the phone. If we're on the phone, it goes to voicemail. But if you need to talk about the program, then, we're happy to talk to you about it. If we are, if you're just, looking for someone to talk to, that's not the phone number to call. But if you really want to talk about, where does this fit in your life and does it fit? We don't want anyone in there who isn't right. And that's crazy. Like when I watched my video, I had to talk about Pencil Drawing College and what it has at the end of it, and because you needed to know what's in it and what you're going to get. And I sort of felt a little bit like an infomercial, but here's the huge difference. I am so far from an infomercial because I won't even let you in unless you apply and I accept you. You can get into Pencil Drawing College. Anybody can get in there, but if they cause problems, we'll send them away. And so I only want to work. I have a competitor who throws paint at the canvas, and his work is very bizarre in my opinion. And he has a program for artists who want to spit paint. And he'll take 300 or 400 people in his coaching program. And I just think, how can you serve those people? I don't want that. I keep my numbers small. In fact, this morning we had a little glitch, and I thought we were 78% sold out, and we're only 50% sold out. But that's okay. I think it's 55%, 54% sold out. So this happens usually like right away, like within the first hour. We were almost, halfway sold out, because it's so rare to find a master who not only can make you into a master, but can also teach you the path to success. And in the Advanced Apprentice program, you get access to my $2,000 marketing program, which is basically a map of how I went from obscurity to making millions of dollars doing what I love. So it teaches you how to do a website, how to do a business card, how to set up a business, how to do a DBA, how to get publicity, how to decide what your brand is, all that stuff, everything you need to know. And it's there for you in the Accelerated Apprentice program. You get that $2,000 program for free. And I can tell you a secret. One of the reasons I give it for free is because a lot of artists aren't smart enough to buy it. And so I throw it in because you need that. If you want to monetize your business, you need to learn how business works. And that's, there are poor chiropractors. I know one. There are poor dentists and poor doctors and poor lawyers and poor plumbers. It's not about your skill set or your occupation. It's about whether or not you understand how to do business. And so I really want you to have access to that, so that if you decide, if you're the conscientious kind, probably only, I would say maybe only 5% of my students take advantage of that. But when they do, I just see them take off, and it's super fun to watch them succeed. And if you don't want to make money at art, you're just at the age where you have your retirement and you don't need the money, it's perfectly valid to just do it for you. You deserve it. How many diapers did you wash for those kids How many times did you sacrifice what you wanted so that they could go to college, or, all that? And it's your turn. It's your turn. It's your turn to sit down and do what pleases you. It's mom's turn. And so it's perfectly valid to just do art to please yourself and to please your friends and your family, or to leave a legacy or whatever. But if you want to do it as an occupation, in the accelerated program, we provide that there for free. That $2,000 program is free. It's called What Rich Artists Do That Poor Artists Don't. And one of the things that rich artists do is they work on understanding business. I know that some artists are allergic to money. I had a person in the atelier who wanted to be successful, but she was just she had such a difficult personality that I don't think anyone would ever hire her, unless she got an agent who could be a buffer between her and the clients. There's just things you need to know. Like I taught you, one of the lessons in these free workshops was manners, not violating other people's copyrights, and how to be polite and how to give back to the people who've given to you. And, how, and all that stuff. So we teach you, what's important if you want to be successful. And I can't do it for you. I can't. I can only give you the roadmap, but you have to drive the car. I give you the treasure map and you can find that, but you're the one who is in the driver's seat. And so I remember when I signed up for my marketing coach 3 years ago, it was kind of frustrating that I had to do all the work. I was like, oh, won't you help me more? And it was like, he said, I gave you the roadmap. You figure it out. And that's really the way it works. So, all right, I'm going to answer a couple of questions now. In order to get the extra free workshop for PDC and the ability to apply for accelerated, you need to sign up by tonight. You will be able to apply for the accelerated program. Everybody who signs up for Pencil Drawing College will be given an invitation to fill out an application so that we will consider you for the accelerated program. After, we're giving Pencil Drawing College students first dibs on those spots, because like I said, it's a very limited, because I don't take on 400 people. I couldn't do you justice and give you the kind of personal attention that I give you. So we limit who can go in there, and we also are looking for people who are, you could literally be the worst artist watching me right now, and we might accept you into that program. I'm serious. It has nothing to do with your talent, because I'm really good at making people who have no talent really good, really fast. I mean, that's my talent. I did that for 20 years. I only worked with stick figure artists for 20 years because I just found that's my calling. I love helping people from zero to amazing. And I'm really good at that. So yeah. So everybody, no matter what day you sign up, I mean, registration closes, I think it's Wednesday or Thursday closes. And then that's only if we didn't sell out. If we sell out, we'll close it early. I thought we were going to close it tomorrow because our internet was giving us false reports, and I thought it was 78% sold out, so I thought it would be gone tomorrow. But it's only like 55 or so percent sold out now, so there's still some room available in Pencil Drawing College. And if you sign up for that today, then you will go. If you sign up for Pencil Drawing College anytime between now and the time that we close it, you will get an invitation to submit your application for the accelerated program. After we give Pencil Drawing College students the first dibs, then probably Wednesday, we will open up the application to the accelerated program will be put out in the public, and then the public can apply to see if they can get into that program. But if you are planning to go in that program, it just makes sense to sign up for Pencil Drawing College because that's part of the program. And that's the first 4 weeks in the accelerated program you're going to spend in Pencil Drawing College. So you should sign up for that because it gives you first dibs to get into that program. And it also is the first step that we're going to take on your path to success. And then it also gets you a big discount in the accelerated program. So you won't pay as much as everybody else for the accelerated program. So anyway, that's how you apply. So if you want to be in the accelerated program, sign up for Pencil Drawing College tonight, and you'll get an invitation to go into the accelerated program, and then and you'll get to apply, and we'll see if we're going to take you in there, if there's any spaces, and then that one course that was how to draw your kids. How to draw your kids was one of the bonuses, and we had put on there that course was only going to be given out if you sign up tonight, but we're thinking about maybe letting you get it tomorrow. I'll let you know. But the best thing is just to sign up tonight. If you're going to sign up now and you'll get all the bonuses. It just makes complete sense. So that's pretty much the way it works. Marianne, we did an abbreviated version of Pencil Drawing College last year. We didn't do the full thing because you were in a 6-month program where we were doing more than what we're giving in the accelerated program. So we didn't have as much time to spend. And I would recommend, I'm glad you signed up, because that you cannot spend enough time drawing. Drawing is just critical to all forms of art. I had a 4-year art degree. When I took my drawing, I went back and did this, Pencil Drawing College, because I just wasn't strong in drawing. And if you're not strong in drawing, you're going to have trouble with watercolor, oils, acrylics, pastels, colored pencils. You're drawing graphite, charcoal, anything you do, you're going to struggle if you don't know how to draw. And so drawing is just an incredibly valuable skill. And some people end up just drawing with graphite. I love drawing with graphite. I think it's super fun. Okay, I'm just going to look at more questions here. Yes, Christina, I think the accelerated program is perfect for you, and so is Pencil Drawing College. Maria says that Peanut Butter thinks my hat is a kitty. That's why he was attacking it. That's funny. Diana says, you're speaking right to my heart. Aw, that's so cool, Diana. It means so much to me when I'm able to help people follow their dreams. I mean, you know, when you get to this age, you realize that you don't have forever, you know? And so I sit with my father and I say, what do you want me to do? What do you want me to do with the years that I have left? And he said, this year I want you to coach people. You know, I want you to help them get rid of those bad mistakes so they can succeed and they can take off. And the thing that's fun about my position is I was doing this for a long time, as I said, for the college. And then we had a retrospective art show where we brought back people I had been teaching for 14 years because I just wanted to see where are they now. And the thing that I was most proud of in that art show is that their work didn't look like mine. Because I'm not trying to create clones. I'm just trying to make you a better version of you. And so, you know, here's Grant Peikoff with oil paintings that are, you know, a little distorted. I love his style. I mean, I have like 5 of his paintings on my walls. I collect his work. And there were graphic designers in there. There were illustrators in there. There were people that were doing graphite. There were people doing pastel and oil paintings and colored pencil and every kind of style and subject that you can think of. They were becoming a better version of them, you see. And that's what I'm really good at, is giving you the skills so you can become what you were created to be. But you can't be creative when you don't have the foundations. You have all these great ideas, but your paper doesn't look like it. And you don't know how to make the paper look like that. I mean, I remember when I first was trying to be creative, and some of those horrible drawings that I showed. I went to this baby beauty contest, and I just really hate it. This is my personal opinion. I grew up in another culture. I hated that Americans treat you like beauty makes you better, or that they try to make their kids into... These were little babies entering a beauty contest. And to me, I didn't think that you should teach your kids that's where their value is. My opinion. Sorry. And I was very beautiful when I was little, and I didn't even know it till I came to America, because no one mentioned it. Beauty didn't matter where I grew up. And I just felt that, treating beauty like a commodity was not a good idea. So I started drawing these pictures of baby beauty contests. I was trying to make a social comment. And my art was so bad. It was so bad because I didn't know how to draw very well. The drawing wasn't that bad, but the colored pencil skills were horrible. I was using the wrong papers, the wrong pencils. And I had these creative ideas, and I really wanted to express this, like, this culture is wrong, and I want to show them. And I couldn't do it because I didn't have the skills, So I was kind of like a sociologist, using art to talk to the world. And I didn't communicate because my art was so bad. And so you have creative ideas in your head, but if you don't have the foundational skills, you can't make your paper look like that. And so that's why it was so surprising when I was raving to the students that I went to that art show with in Little Italy. I was raving about how this guy had really good drawing skills, really good color theory, really good composition, all this stuff. And guess who taught him? I was recognizing quality. So he's modifying reality, but he's doing it very effectively. He uses orange juxtaposed against the blue so that the blue looks vibrant. And that's color theory. Using complements makes colors look vibrant. And so, so knowing all those foundations gives you the ability to communicate effectively in whatever form of art you're going to end up in. I don't know what you don't maybe know. So a lot of times you don't find out until you start exploring. And now when I sit down to do creative pieces, it's a process, but I'm not scared of it because I know I can draw. And I know which paper to use, and I know what pencils to use, and I know what technique to use, and all that kind of stuff. Hi, honey. And he wants to hold hands. He likes to hold hands. So I want to give you those creative skills. Okay? You're speaking to my heart, Diana says. Okay, those are all the questions that we have, and I apologize that I can't do critiques tonight. I know I didn't promise originally. I was supposed to do them 3 days ago, and I did. But unfortunately, my computer got a virus this morning at 2:13 a.m. Those dragons. And we conquered them anyway because I went on a tablet and my phone to answer Alex. We were both just like trying to prop our eyes open to stay awake so we could launch Pencil Drawing College for you. But I would suggest that if you plan to join, go join tonight. And I will put a link to that for you, that video. You need to watch the video because it tells you the 3 mistakes that I made and then how we conquer them. And then I describe Pencil Drawing College. And at the very end, I think it's like 3 or 4 minutes from the end of the video, all of a sudden this big red button will pop up on the screen and you click on that button and that takes you to where you enroll in Pencil Drawing College. If you need a direct link and you've already watched the video, just private message me here on Facebook and I'll send you a link to the page where you can sign up. But you need to sign up today if you want all those bonuses and you want to, you're thinking about the advanced tier, then it would be good for you to get in there so you can get your application in before that fills up, because we're going to be looking over those applications in the upcoming days and inviting some of those people to join the advanced tier. And in the advanced tier, we're actually going to be spending 6 months. 6 months taking you from zero to amazing. So it's going to be just epic. super excited about it. Okay, so that's pretty much what I've got for you tonight. Now, I did want to say Sunday is my day of rest, and I only promised you 2 bonus days. Actually, I only promised you 14 days, and then I gave you 2 bonus days because I always over-deliver. But now I'm kind of feeling bad that my computer isn't working and that I didn't get to critique you, so I might make an appearance on Monday night at 7:30. I will post that for you. If I decide to come on here on Monday, check it tomorrow morning, like maybe around, let's see, I'll probably get up. I stay up really late when all these things are happening, so I'll probably check it by like around, 9 or between 9 and 10 a.m. Pacific Standard Time, and I'll post on there on Monday, or maybe even before then. I'll post a time that I may be broadcasting on Monday. Maybe I'll broadcast in the morning, or maybe I'll do it in the evening, but I feel like I want to critique those pieces if my computer recovers. And so I may be back on Monday, but I'm not promising anything because I don't even know if my computer is going to survive this. Just say a prayer if you're the praying kind, because I could really use that. I do not need for my computer to crash right now. So anyway, but the thing is, what I want you to take away from that is that here we were, Alex and I, fighting all kinds of dragons, technological dragons, to get Pencil Drawing College created for you. And then here we are, I am at 2:13 in the morning, holding my eyes open with toothpicks because I was so tired. And so was Alex, and my computer gets a virus. Now, most people would go to bed, but in Sandyland, we don't let obstacles stop us. I wanted to make that happen for you because I had promised. And so I said to the dragons, okay, you killed my computer, but my tablet still works. And my phone still works. So I got on my phone and my tablet, and I kept texting and emailing Alexandra until we both fell asleep in our chairs. And then we'd set I woke up at 3:30 in the morning after I fell asleep and went to bed, but I set my alarm to get up at 7 because I wanted to be sure that I finished everything in time to, get it out to you so that you could sign up today, because that's what I had promised you to do. And I mention all this because I want you to be like that. I'm not going to tell you that in the next 6 months your life is going to be smooth. Life happens. But you don't need to let it stop you. Debbie, the one whose home burned down a month and a half ago, she was the first one to sign up for Pencil Drawing College. She's got a ton on her plate. She has every excuse not to follow her dream. I mean, she's got to rebuild her home and deal with insurance people and make choices and all kinds of stuff. And she was the first one to sign up because she's not going to give up on her dream just because her home burned down. I didn't give up on my dream just because my home burned down. I couldn't go to bricks and mortar anymore, so I went viral. I went on the internet, virtual. And I am now teaching people on 5 different continents because my home burned down, and God turned it into good. Now I don't have to get dressed. This morning I jumped on here to just broadcast for a few minutes because some people were asking questions. And I put my denim jacket over my nightgown. Where else can you do that? Go to work with a denim jacket over your nightgown. Bare feet. I'm barefoot right now. And I'm in my home. I don't have to travel. It's been raining for 3 days. I didn't have to go outside. I could wait to go to the grocery store because in California, we don't go out if it rains. We're crazy out here. We're so finicky about weather. It's just pitiful. I mean, I've got a sweater on because it's under 70 degrees, and I've got this warm hat. So we're kind of spoiled out here. Okay, so I have loved being with you. I might be back on Monday, probably, not promising. Just have to wait and see if my computer comes back from the dead. I got to get a hold of my computer therapist and see if he can make it out here, maybe tomorrow, to fix it for me. And say a prayer that it'll work. And so I just want to remind you of the message that I gave to you today. There is a plan for your life. And those whispers in your heart, Those are instructions. Will you listen? Will you follow your dream? If you're a Christian, when you get to heaven, what will you say to your Father about that talent that He gave you? Will you say, I used it and developed it and I became who I was meant to be? Let me tell you why this is so important. When I was a little girl, I was separated. There was a war in the country in Congo where I was living. And they, Chinese communists, had trained the rebels to murder white people and anybody who looked civilized. And there was a murder plot to kill all 100 children at my school. And so the UN heard word of that, and they sent in mercenary soldiers to rescue us, and we snuck away in the dead of night, and we got captured and thrown in prison. I was separated from my parents for 7 months. I didn't know if they were alive. Life was hard. And you know what made it okay? A piece of art. A piece of art. There was this painting on the wall in the refugee camp where I ended up living. I went to this boarding school at RVA, Rift Valley Academy in Kenya. And I saw this painting of the girl. There was two little kids. I think it was a boy and a girl. They were crossing this really scary bridge, and there was holes in the bridge and boards missing and a raging river underneath. But there was an angel. There was an angel. I'm going to get tears when I talk about this. It's just, this art crawled inside my heart. And it talked to me, and it said, it's okay. It's okay. There's an angel watching over you. You're going to be all right. You know, and I am all right. And it was a piece of art that told me that. You know, you can change the world with art. So if you have been called to be an artist, say yes. Say yes to your dreams and make it happen. It's time. It's time. I hope I'm your fairy art mother. I hope I've been sent here to help you make that dream come true. And when we go for the gold, remember, there will be miracles.